It's Thursday, and I had quite a few email responses. Thank you so much. But I also I didn't hear from maybe about 25 kids. So hopefully you're signing in, you're looking at these videos. But the kids who did sign in, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And the rest of you, if you could please just send me a quick email to my teacher side to just let me know that you're doing it. But today, there was a couple of questions last night that I want to deal with. I believe they were from the chapter test. That was what I told you to do for tomorrow from page 459. The first question, I forgot who it was, but thank you for sending it, was about the domain problems between like 11 and 16. I don't want to do all these problems right now. Excuse me. But I do want to talk a little bit about the domain. And maybe I'll use one of the problems as an example, and then you could, again, tonight try to figure them out. Let's take a look maybe like at number 14, where you have f of x is equal to x to the negative 1/5. So see how that has a odd root here? So far that's no problem. And g of x is x to the 3/5. It also has an odd root, so there's no problem initially here. The problem, I believe, asked you to do f over g. So to divide those two functions. So what would we do? We would take f, which is this, over g, which is this. And then, of course, you have the same base, so I simply have to subtract these. That'll be x to the negative 1/5 minus 3/5. So that's x to the negative 4/5. Can't have a negative exponent there, so I'm going to do 1 over x to the 4/5. Well, having an odd root right here, 5, that's like this, you can put in negative numbers for that. So the domain seems to be all real numbers here. However, where is that x? It's in the denominator. If you put 0 in there, then it's not going to work out because 0 to the 4/5 is 0. 1 over 0 is undefined. So the domain here is all real numbers except 0. So you got to kind of think about it like that. And for example, many of the other ones are all real numbers, but look at number 12 real quickly. You can't use negative values in number 12 at all because they're both to the 1/4 power. So that means you have this. If I put any negative numbers in there, I'm not allowed to do that because you will get an imaginary answer. So I hope that helps a little bit with 11 to 16. The other two questions were on 19 and 26, somebody asked about. So I'll do those real quickly. Okay? So on 19, you had f of x equals 3/4 x squared. F of x equals 3/4 x squared. And they told you that you have to use it. Now, of course, you can put any number you want in there, but I think this here is for after you do the inverse. Now, the inverse of this, of course, you would write y equals 3/4 x squared. Excuse me. Now I switch the x and y, right? There you go. So x would equal 3/4 y squared. Well, I got to solve for y. So I'm going to multiply by 4 over 3. That will cancel that. So I'd have 4/3 x equals y squared. And now I have to square root both sides. So there's really not a whole lot I can do, but I can do this, the square root of 4x over the square root of 3. This right here, the top will just become 2 times the square root of x, because I can take out a 2 from the 4. I'm still over the square root of 3. Well, I can't have a radical down here, so I multiply by square root of 3 over square root of 3. And I'm going to get 2 times the square root of 3x up on top there. On the bottom, I'm just going to have 3. Now that's where they get their answer here. And then this comes into it now because look what I have here. I have the square root of x. X cannot be negative. If you put a negative number in there, you will get an imaginary answer. So that's why the domain is only greater than or equal to 0. Because after you do that division, you cannot use negative x's. Okay. And last but not least, you'll be happy to know I just spilled my coffee. So hang on one second. Well, you'll be happy to know the red shirt came in handy once again. And in here spilling my coffee, but gotta have my coffee, you know me. All right, the last one was, I believe, number 26. Now, the answer is no solution, and you'll see why in a second. So the problem was x plus 8 to the 1/4 plus 1 equals 0. And I want you to kind of think about this. Right now, just this part here would show you that if you put in -9, it's not going to work, right? Because this, so the domain's already restricted because I'm taking an even root. This cannot be negative. But watch what happens here. The first thing I'm going to do is take away 1. So I have x plus 8 to the 1/4 power is equal to -1. Well, right now you should know this is the 4th root of something equaling a negative number. That's impossible. So, I mean, you could think about it like this, too. So if it's the 4th root, I got to raise it to the 4th power. -1 to the 4th power is simply positive. So then x would have to equal -7, taking away the 8. Well, if you put -7 in there, -7 plus 8 is 1. The 4th root of 1 is 1. It does not equal -1, so this is not a solution. But you could have known that up here if you would have just thought, how can I take the 4th root and get a negative? So this is an extraneous solution, so there is no solution to number 26. All right, so hopefully, keep the questions coming, guys. I'll be happy to do any problems that you want me to do. But keep working on that page 459, okay? I'll email you with these instructions again, but then tomorrow I'll try to post the answers worked out with all of them, okay? All right, guys. Hopefully things are going okay for you guys at home. I know it's a little boring, but, we'll get through this thing. Don't worry. All right, man. See ya soon, I hope.